Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's town hall. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, just a few housekeeping updates before we get started. We are live streaming and recording today's session, so if you get disconnected at any point or want to come back and watch it on repeat, you can go to youtube.com/@hospitable. We're going to get started today with some people updates before moving on to our product updates. As always, we do appreciate your questions. So if you do have any questions throughout the session, please use the Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen. Try not to use chat for the questions because we might miss your question and not get an answer to you. We'll also try and save some time at the end for some live Q&A on stage. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to PC to set things off.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us again on this fantastic town hall. We have a very busy schedule, so we're going to start with people. And our traditional segment is introducing the new people that are joining our team this week or in the past 2 weeks. And so today we have Dre, who is joining our sales team. So Dre, now is the moment when you can unmute yourself, put your camera on, and introduce yourself to hopefully a sea of prospects. What are you doing?
Hello, everybody. Dre Simmons. I am an account executive, so I'm in sales. I will be helping all of you wonderful hosts figuring out what the best plan is for your setup. Super excited to be here and really eager to help all of you guys succeed. Thanks.
And just to help you, what's the best way to contact you right now?
You can email me directly, deandre.simmons@hospitable.com.
And
Yes,
that's
sir.
a good thing. And what's a fun fact about you?
Fun fact about me. I'm a huge
Aha.
anime nerd. I love Dragon Ball Z and everything about it. That's probably the most random fun fact about me.
I kind of want to say that's a 90s kid vibe, but I'm not sure exactly whether that
I
applies. And
am.
where, yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah. And where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Cape Coral, Florida.
Yeah, so if you're in Florida, you can send an email to deandre.simmons@hospitable.com and get you set up with a demo, although the customer success team is probably going to be very jealous of the attention that you get, Dre. Thank you so much for staying here for a little bit and obviously staying tuned with all the product updates. Just one thing, did you go through the product test yet?
Of course,
Of
passed it
course,
first
and you passed
try.
it with flying colors. Sorry, my bad. I didn't see that in the flurry of Slack notifications. Thank
No
you.
worries.
Perfect. And then moving on, we're going to talk about next slide. People. Yeah, people again. That is not a typo or a mistake. This time it's different. So at Hospitable, we have a simple strategy in 3 parts, which is platform, payments, and people. That is so easy it is to remember it, right? And so today we're going to talk about people. And it's a big leap forward that we're going to do today on that 3rd part of a strategy. So I'm not going to spoil it to you, that this is going to be Emily talking to you about what is going on at Hospitable about it. Good luck.
Cool. Thanks, PC. All right, let's dive in. We're going to tell a little story today. I want you to meet our customer named Michelle. She works a very demanding full-time job while raising a family. She already owns one investment property in Fort Myers Beach, Florida, which she manages on our host plan. Amazingly, she's been able to successfully self-manage with all of her other responsibilities, even though she lives 2 hours away. But she realizes that in order to put her effort into her growing career, which actually funds her real estate investments, she'd rather not have to focus on the day-to-day responsibilities that come along with hosting guests on their summer vacations. She wants to retain time for the most important things in her life while leaving space to focus on acquiring more property for her portfolio. So she decides to search for a property manager, somebody to oversee the day-to-day operations of her short-term rental, somebody who can be there to break up that inevitable spring break party. She had to do that once, and that was enough. It totally hijacked her workday. She starts Googling property managers in her area. She finds a couple of options, talks to a few on the phone, and goes with her gut. Once the contract is signed, she cancels her Hospitable account. This is always a really bittersweet moment for us. We like to think that Hospitable can empower self-managers to continue self-managing forever, and I think it can when they want to, when that's their goal. But sometimes it's not their goal. Life changes, promotions happen, babies are born, travel dreams are realized, and we have to say goodbye and good luck. And then we have Dave over here. He recently quit his full-time job. He's managing 7 properties on the Mogul plan, and almost makes enough to replace the salary from the job he left. He's taking full advantage of all the owner management features offered on the Mogul plan. His owners are invited to access real-time information in a branded owner's portal where they can view monthly statements, see updates on their incoming payouts. Things are going really well. The foundation of his business is strong, the systems are in place, and he's starting to think about what it might look like to turn his focus and start working on growing the business, not just working on the nitty-gritty day-to-day. You see, he grew to this point through friends and family connections. He did really well managing the vacation home he managed for his family, and they started to spread the word. He's really proud of that growth. It got him to this point, but if he truly needs to scale, he needs to take a different approach. So he finds a couple of places online to list his management services. He connects with a few local real estate agents, and he tries to get listed on the co-host marketplace, but it's actually full in his area, so he's added to the waitlist. Meanwhile, another property management company that services his area has closed that deal with Michelle. Her place is doing fine. She really hoped to be hands-off while building on the amazing reputation that she built after years of earning almost all 5-star reviews. But it turns out that the manager that she hired didn't actually have a ton of local knowledge, and they just haven't really been able to help guests like Michelle was expecting. So she's gotten a few disappointing reviews, and it's had her kind of rethinking this whole thing. She starts searching for alternatives just to see who else is out there, maybe a manager who actually has good reviews to back up their claims. She's excited to stumble upon a website that will actually help her find a property manager. She completes a brief form online and hopes to learn about next steps, but within seconds, she starts getting texts, phone calls, emails from property managers who are just ravenous for her business. She doesn't remember agreeing to have her contact information blasted out to hundreds. She is totally overwhelmed by this deluge, so she puts her phone on silent and hopes it will pass soon. One of those calls actually came from Dave, but Michelle has already lost trust and she never calls him back. To be honest, the leads that he's received through that website he listed his services on, they haven't really been that great, but right now it's the only way he gets new opportunities, so he's rolling with it. Most of the time he gets a lead, he ends up on the phone, sometimes with a cleaning company trying to sell him their services. We all admire that kind of hustle, but it's become a pretty big time suck, and the marketplace he's listed on actually charges per lead. It's not much, but these bad leads do cost him money. And when he does actually get in touch with an owner who really does need his services, he is given so little information that he finds himself burning sometimes 20 hours just gathering what's required to be able to decide if it's even worth pursuing. And sometimes it's not. Michelle's property is actually perfect for Dave, and Dave would actually be perfect for her. He's earned over 500 reviews during his time managing, and he averages an impressive 4.98 stars, and he lives in the area, so knows all the best spots to recommend guests. Michelle's place happens to be on the same street as one of Dave's, but they would never meet each other. This story and others like it literally keeps us up at night. You see, we've spent so much time building a super app for short-term rental hosts and managers, and we've been really successful with that. We know that because we can see that you're successful, and that's our goal. Hospitable empowers you to automate so much of your day-to-day hosting journey, but having really great automation tools to put your business on autopilot are only worth more if you have a business to grow, and that's what we're hoping to fix. And why today we're excited to announce Hospitable's Property Manager Marketplace, a smarter, more trustworthy way to connect the right owner with the right property managers. As you've heard through Dave's story, and maybe even experienced yourself, managers spend a ton of time chasing leads by hoping for referrals, doing cold outreach, using low-quality lead aggregators where they have to pay just to play. And owners struggle to find someone they can trust that's actually aligned with their goals and have the data to back up their claims. The way this has been done so far just isn't working, and we've heard from hundreds of you who have told us that. So we're going to take a fresh look, and we're building a marketplace where everybody wins. And it starts with our customers, some who might even be watching this town hall. Earlier this month, we launched Essentials, a free plan that removes the biggest barrier to getting hosts onto professional software. That means that more owners than ever are coming through our doors, owners who are managing their own properties, learning the ropes, and discovering what it really takes. Some of those owners are going to love self-managing and continue doing so for years, and that's amazing. But some of them are going to realize it's not their thing. And when that moment comes, we'll be there. We're watching for the signals, declining reviews, slower response times, other signs of burnout. And instead of just letting them suffer while we stand idly by, we're going to reach out and ask if they need help. And then we're going to connect them with you, a mogul customer ready to scale their business, a high-performing property manager that services their location and specializes in the area and is aligned with the owner's actual priorities. So let me walk you through what happens when an owner decides they want help. And this is the part where I struggle to share my screen. There we go. Okay. They can actually seek help proactively from our help page by choosing there to get matched with a top performing property manager. From there, they land on a very brief intake form. It's built right into Hospitable, so we already know who they are and what properties they have and a lot of information about them and why they might be seeking help. And we ask them just a couple of things. We keep this really short. And I want you to pay attention to why we're asking each one of these, because every answer is actually designed to save you, their future manager, time. First, which property do they need help with? This is auto-populated from their account. We already have the reviews, the revenue history, the channel set up. You won't need to ask for an address and start from zero like you might with any other lead. Second, what are their goals? We actually have them rank this by priority. Do they want to maximize their revenue? Do they want to find someone who's going to help them care for their property? Now, Michelle actually wanted to prioritize the guest experience and minimize her own involvement. We have been able to glean a lot from this question. It's been very insightful to see what owners see as the most important thing and kind of see these goals ranked. Okay, third, what's your budget to invest in initial improvements? This is the question that property managers told us matters most to them and the one that they almost never think to ask about. You don't want to take on a property that needs work if the owner won't invest a single dollar. And you don't want to walk away from a great opportunity because you didn't know that they would. So we just ask so you don't have to make these assumptions. Michelle actually has $3,000 set aside to invest in the property. So she can let us know that here. And then we ask, how hands-on or hands-off do you want to be? So this is also important for obvious reasons. Almost every PM we spoke to had a story about a deal that they regretted, not because the property was bad or they didn't like the owner, but because they were just misaligned. Not only do we surface this before you ever get on a call with the owner, but we're going to be proactively looking for managers whose services are a good fit based on the owner's preferred involvement level. And finally, an open text box where they can add whatever else it is that they'd like to add. So now, Michelle has actually told us everything that we need to know. Her properties, her goals, her budget, how involved she wants to be. But how do we find a property manager that's not just a good property manager, but that's actually good for her? So that's where I'm going to hand it over to Leroy to share more.
Yes, thanks, Emily. So you just saw what Michelle told us. Now, let me show you what happens behind the scenes the moment she hits submit. We will search for a fellow customer, a mogul customer who services the area or has a property near one of Michelle's properties. But we're not just pulling up a list of names and making introductions. We're actually evaluating every candidate based on these two dimensions, readiness and fit. So readiness is about you, the property manager. It's about our measure of your operational maturity. Are you listed on multiple channels? Are you using dynamic pricing? Are you leveraging additional revenue channels like upsells or rental insurance? And, well, have you set up owner statements and payouts? The more levers you've pulled in Hospitable, the more ready we think you are to manage for an owner, even if you haven't done so before. And these are just some of the things that give us the confidence in our own recommendations. We know you can actually deliver for an owner like Michelle. And not because you had great marketing content or a good sales tactic or paid more to be considered more, but because we can see it in your own performance. And then fit is about the match with a particular owner. It starts with location, answering the question, is this property in your service area? But it goes deeper. Michelle told us she wants to prioritize guest experience and be hands-off. So we are looking for a mogul customer whose services, style, and strengths line up with those priorities and preferences. Not someone who is a great property manager on paper, but who we are confident can be a great property manager for Michelle. All right, so let's bring it back to Michelle and Dave. Dave is one of our own mogul PMs. He's been on Hospitable. He's managing properties in his area. He's got great reviews. He's using dynamic pricing and owner payouts. Dave's readiness score is really strong. But we have a lot of other property managers using Hospitable too, who are also truly amazing. But are they a good fit for Michelle? Not only do they want to work with owners like Michelle, but do they offer what Michelle actually needs? Dave is local. Michelle wants to prioritize guest experience. And Dave is already doing an excellent job with his existing portfolio. She wants to be hands-off, and Dave offers full service management. So we've scored every PM near Michelle's properties on both readiness and fit. The ones in that top tier, they don't just get added to some email blast with Michelle's contact information, but they get sent an opportunity straight to their inbox. And now I will hand it off to Danny to show you exactly what that looks like.
Yes. All right. Cool. Thanks, Leroy. So let's talk about what happens next for Dave. Dave receives an opportunity in his email, and usually this could be, 1 second, the wrong page shared. There we go. There we go. This is the opportunity he actually receives. But this would usually be the part where it would break down. You'd get a lead from a referral or a lead generator. It would maybe include an address, and then you'd have to spend like hours doing your own research, deciding if it's even worth it or not, wasting your valuable time, of course. But this is what Dave actually receives: an overview of what Michelle finds important, her investment capabilities, and details about the property. Not just the basics like the address and the reviews, but also what the revenue is, the occupancy, the average nightly rate. So this property is actually doing quite well. It's listed on 2 channels, Airbnb and Vrbo, and we can see, based on properties of a similar kind in the area that are being listed on booking.com, actually see a revenue increase of 18%. So that could be something Dave could consider doing if you wanted to manage this property. Next up, let's look at the reviews, which are actually quite great. But there are certain issues we can view from the guest conversations. One recently highlighted that the pool deck was actually maybe a bit rotting or not entirely up to standards. So this could be where that initial investment of $3,000 could be used towards to get that fixed up. Yeah, so this already gives Dave a lot of context about what Michelle needs, what the property is like, and what the performance is. So he can hopefully make a much quicker informed decision in minutes instead of having to spend hours like figuring all of this out by himself. So next up, Dave gets to decide if he's actually interested in this opportunity. If he's not, no problem. It's all good. We'll get you on the next one. But if he is interested, which I think I would be in this case, it's pretty good, I think. Yeah, let's do that. This in turn allows us to share Dave's information with Michelle, and she can view him as a potential property manager here. Next, you can actually enhance your profile slightly. So let's have a look at that. So in Hospitable, there's a new page where we can actually update your profile information. A lot of this data we already have from your account. We know your email, we know your phone number. But if you want like a specific bio about why you think you'd be a good fit, then that can be done. Next up is your services and what you provide them. We know that Michelle is looking for somebody to do all the hosting, so we'd be looking for somebody that does like full service management. And here you can define some of the things you actually offer as part of that experience, including whatever your commission is and which area you actually service. So in this case, Dave services the Fort Myers Beach area. This is based on initially on which properties he manages in his Hospitable account, but this can also be expanded over time. So if you were to say he'd also want to expand to this area, he could very quickly say that this would be part of his service area as well, and any new potential owners that arise here could be reached out. We could surface those opportunities to Dave as well, as long as he fits those criteria that Leroy talked about before. And he can set up different services as well, depending on what he actually offers as part of his property manager company. So let's save that up, and Dave will also get new opportunities here. This is completely optional. This is mostly just to refine your opportunities, but we'll base it on like I said, the properties you already manage in your Hospitable account. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'll pass it back to Emily, who can show you what Dave now looks like in the on the side of Michelle, and go back from there.
Sweet. Thanks, Danny. Okay, so remember the problem we set out to solve for owners. Today, if you Google find a property manager, you fill out a form and your phone rings like 50 times. That's not what happens here. Owners told us they want control. They want to know what to expect. So Michelle actually gets a curated list of candidates, not just a list of every single PM near her, just the ones who scored really high when we assessed their readiness and their fit, who actually have expressed interest in working with her. So in this case, Dave is one of a small handful of curated candidates, and she can review more about him on his profile. And only when Michelle decides, only when she says yes, do we start sharing contact information and making introductions. Dave, at that point, she expresses interest and Dave can take it and run. He's got the context, he's got the alignment, and he's got an owner who already believes that he's a good fit, so that he can have a really productive first call that's actually worth his time. All right, slide time. Thanks, Gabby. Okay, I'd like to share what we learned so far in hundreds of conversations with hosts about just how hard and how expensive it is to acquire new customers today. This is what you've told us you're paying today to grow your business within these strategies. So let's dive into the numbers. Hiring a business development rep internally is something that people do sometimes when they're pretty large. There are obviously good things about this because you get to decide how this person works and define their workflows, but it's something that really only the people who are already successful can afford. At a minimum, you're looking at a salary of like $6,500 a month at least, and sometimes with a commission of up to 30% on any deals closed. So not only are you taking that upfront risk by committing to that person and that salary, but you're dedicating a pretty good chunk of your lifetime earnings to that person. Again, that might be a really good approach once you've reached a certain level and have a really strong partnership with someone that you trust. But it's unattainable for the majority of us who are in an earlier stage of our business growth. Then there are lead aggregators. It's usually free to list your companies on these sites, but you pay for every lead you get. Lead aggregators in our industry are typically charging between $30 to $80 anytime you're contacted. So it's not a lot of money individually, but you're at the whim of somebody else. You don't get to choose who calls you. And when you do get in touch, you know nothing about this person. No homework has been done. Do they even own a property yet? Is it already operating as a short-term rental? What state is the property in? Do they have a budget to improve it if it needs it? How can we improve the performance? While we were researching our own marketplace, I filled out many of these intake forms myself with nothing more than my email and maybe my property address. So I'm sorry in advance if any of you paid to get me as a lead, but I was not qualified. I didn't tell you anything about my goals, my budget, or even what services I was looking for. Then there are referral networks. Some of them will let you in for free, but you quickly learn that you have to pay to get seen. Some of the more popular referral networks start at $250 a month just to boost your profile higher on a list and get more referrals. They're typically charging for every closed deal, so they are actually incentivized to bring you better quality leads, but you're still paying upfront when the deal closes, typically between $1,000 and $2,500 a deal, even before you've actually put the property into operation. It's not always super straightforward like this. It's very unlikely that you've picked one of these approaches. You've told us that you dabble in all of these, creating your own kind of hybrid approach. And there's yet another cost that's even more difficult to measure, and that is your time. How much is it worth? If you're honest with yourself, like really honest with yourself, your costs are substantially higher than you think they are, or than this slide even depicts, because it's not just about money, it's about time and how you value it. When we asked you how much time you were spending, here's what you told us. These are real customer quotes from real customer calls that I've had over the past couple of months. I probably invest like 20 hours or so, and some of it's just looking at the property online, looking at the reviews. It is a big time suck, especially if you don't know if you're going to work with someone or not. I get like hundreds and hundreds of opportunities that are absolute trash, and I waste a lot of time on them. Even the co-host market is just giving me total dud leads, and I'm burning a lot of time. The frustration that we heard in your voices was very clear. So we're aligning our own pricing model with yours, resulting in a very meaningful decrease in customer acquisition costs and time. Typically, an additional active property on the mogul plan is $30 a month. For properties that come through our marketplace, there will be no active property fee, just a 10% service fee on the commission you generate from marketplace clients. We don't make money unless you do. So we want to make sure that you make money. The leads that we bring you will be qualified. The opportunities will be detailed with tons of data on the owner's goals and priorities and their property's performance and opportunities to improve that, so that you can decide in 20 minutes, not 20 hours, if it's something that you want to pursue. Meanwhile, if anybody's kept up with industry news lately, the market is speaking and putting a value on management contracts. A vacation rental management company was recently acquired, valuing each management contract at over $83,000. We are not here to just bring you leads. It does not help us and it does not help you. We are here to bring you long-term financial assets to grow your business. And we don't believe that you should have to pay just to play. Your performance should speak for itself. So, everything that you've seen today is live. The intake, the matching algorithm, the opportunity emails, the profiles, the candidate review. We focused first on, we think, the hardest part, which is making solid matches, getting the right owner in front of the right property manager with the right information on both sides so that they have confidence in each other before they ever have a conversation. We've been piloting this throughout the first quarter. Some of you, maybe on this call, have already received opportunities and deals are starting to close. We're helping customers grow their business, and we're really excited about that. Now that we're doing that, we're moving on to the next chapter of supporting the transition. Because here's the thing, these matches, it's great to make them, but they're more likely to stick when the actual handoff is seamless. When you close a deal with a new owner, we will be taking care of the transition. The owner's properties will just appear in your account. Owners will get access to the portal automatically, statements, payouts, all of that stuff handled for you, so that you're not spending your first couple of weeks with your owner doing mundane tasks like onboarding them. You should be spending that time building a strong relationship. So we'll handle that owner onboarding for you. Everything we've shown you today works with owners who are already on Hospitable. But as we talked about a couple of town halls ago, not everybody uses a professional management software. With product initiatives like the launch of our Essentials plan, which we announced last month, and future marketing initiatives, we're going to find these owners for you. We're going to connect you with owners who are not using Hospitable at all and meet them with that same message that there's a great property manager near you who can help you reach your goals. That's how the marketplace grows beyond our customer base, all without you increasing your marketing spend. Okay, so you might be wondering, well, what can you do today? So if you are an owner and you're committed to self-managing, that's amazing. We do not want you to hire a property manager just because. We are not going to force you to do that. Keep going. Great job. In fact, maybe one day we will actually help you become a property manager by bringing you one of these opportunities. But if you're an owner and any of this resonated with you, maybe you're stretched thin, maybe you've been thinking about getting help and you just didn't know where to start, we're making that really easy. You can go to your help page and click Get Matched with Top Performing Property Manager. You can start the process right there and we will curate a list of candidates for your review. We promise you're not going to get a deluge of phone calls when you do. You will remain in control. And if you're a property manager already on the Mogul plan, you don't have to wait for an opportunity to land in your inbox to start preparing. You can actually enhance your marketplace profile today. So from Hospitable, you go to your business and you'll see a banner at the top which will take you there. There will also give you some insight into your readiness, which is used to make those potential matches. So you'll know exactly what you can do to increase your chances of receiving opportunities. If you're not on Mogul, that's your best chance at getting opportunities. We're always starting with our Mogul customers because we're requiring the use of owner portal, statements, payouts for any marketplace properties. This doesn't mean that you'll never receive an opportunity. If a Mogul customer isn't a good fit, or maybe we don't have enough in the area, we'll also bring opportunities to customers on the Pro plan with the expectation that you upgrade if you accept it. Okay, that was a lot. We've put together an end-to-end demo that walks through everything we just showed you step by step if you'd like to kind of see how it works again. From the owner intake, the matching, the opportunity, candidate review, you can click through at your own pace and see exactly how it works. I will be here for questions afterwards. In the meantime, I'm going to pass to Marina to share more, not to Marina, sorry, to someone to share more about operations.
Yep, that would be me.
Okay.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, yeah, jumping in, just a couple of quick updates from me on the operation side. Yeah, we have a new Hospitable Tasks app, if you've been paying attention. Over the weekend, we passed the $100,000 milestone and paid out tasks for your teammates. But a lot of you have not been able to use it because we only let you pay from a single bank account. Now you have the ability to use multiple different bank accounts to pay your team. This feedback we heard a lot from a lot of you during the pilot. I have 11 properties and 11 bank accounts, but we only ever let you pay from one, what we called your marketplace account. So we fixed that. Now when you are creating or editing a task rule, you can select any of your bank accounts that you have connected to Hospitable. And in the settings and payments and payouts page, we now let you view your top-ups and payments across any account. We're also including more details for each top-up regarding which task it is funding. So that page, I think, makes a lot more sense for you and your business. The next big unlock that we are working on and getting very close is for those of you that are working with, say, more fluid teammates, because you work with, for example, a cleaning company. And they may add and transfer tasks, and those people may not be teammates as we understand them in Hospitable. Now, the challenge on our side is recognizing those relationships, making sure we understand who we need to pay when a task gets transferred from one person to the other. Are they a partner of that person? Is that an employee of the company? So that's what we've been working on, and we're close, but not quite there yet. We're making progress, and hopefully by the next town hall, we'll be able to share with you that this is live and ready to go. And then we'll be working on, actually, I think in that next town hall, we'll also be able to share with you payment schedules for your team, which will unlock weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly pay runs for you. And that's all I have on my side. Now I'll pass to Marina to talk about some connectivity updates for you.
Hello, so now it's my turn. So let's talk about updates on Vrbo Official. We've been learning a lot from the Vrbo pilot, and I think it's been a strong step forward. One thing that we're seeing is that hosts are getting more comfortable bringing their owner accounts into Hospitable. That's a big shift, and it shows growing trust in what we're building, even as we continue to improve it. We're also starting to see the kind of demands that the Vrbo official unlocks. One of our pilot hosts received a 25,000 reservation, which is a very long stay, a 17-day stay. And I think this is a great example of the opportunity that Vrbo can bring to our hosts. Another milestone for us is that up until now, every host and the pilot has been onboarded through a guided call. But now onboarding process has matured to the point where we're confident hosts can do it on their own. So we're starting a small self-service onboarding pilot with support available if they need. Separately, we know every host is in a different place. Some are ready to jump in early into the Vrbo official, while others prefer to wait, and both are completely valid. So we're introducing a wait list. Starting next week, we'll begin rolling this out gradually, not all at once. So not all of you will be getting the wait list on Monday. We'll be rolling it out slowly through the week. You get access in stages, and you'll be able to fill out a short survey to share your setup and your preferences. This helps us onboard you at the right time and with the right level of support. Okay, so next I'm inviting Nick to stage to talk about Polish.
Thank you, Marina. So last town hall, we ran a quick poll and we got your feedback about things that you would like to improve and see changed in the app. It's a long list and some things are more complex to achieve quickly than others, but we've been working through it and I wanted to share a few early quick wins. So one of those was you clearly told us, and we know this, that the app feels slow. We still have a lot of work to do. It's far from perfect, but we spent quite a bit of time in multiple points throughout the last few weeks, just working on the app performance. And yeah, we have reduced actually delays across a lot of parts of the app. It should feel a little bit faster, a little bit snappier. Yeah, it should just feel a little bit better than it did before. In the inbox and properties, I think in calendar a little bit as well. One thing, actually a small bit, a lot of you search by a booking code, a reservation code in the inbox. And that should feel faster as well. It's a small thing, but like a lot of you do this very often, and that should feel just like it should just save you a little bit more time. Next, you also talked about the Knowledge Hub, and there have been a few cases where we kind of failed to import a given PDF that you tried to upload. We worked a bit on that as well, and it should be more flexible at getting information out of any PDF that you provide, even if it is not, let's say, in the format that we might expect you to have. We've seen all kinds of creative ways that you try to give us information to put into the Knowledge Hub, and now the Knowledge Hub import should be more flexible to accommodate that. More to come as we work at the things that you've been telling us about. Next, the other thing that we announced last town hall was MCP. And just as a reminder, so Hospitable's MCP allows you to use any modern AI agent, such as Claude, ChatGPT, Base44, OpenClaw, and so on, to work with your Hospitable account just in natural language, as you might do with a lot of other tools using AI today. So since launching 2 weeks ago, we've had quite a lot of feedback and quite a lot of use cases surfaced. And since then, we've added more things to the MCP, such as interacting with the Knowledge Hub. So adding things, reading from it, updating the calendar, and in particular, like adding calendar notes. Quite a few of you have been asking about that. Also managing reservations, managing quotes, and a few other things. The list is growing. So if you haven't started using MCP, please do so. Let us know how you're doing in the community. Yeah, it's a super exciting new feature that we keep seeing you do more and more interesting things with it. And speaking of, we are doing something a little different. I don't think we've done something quite like this before. We're not exactly hosting, but promoting a build-a-thon, a hackathon. So we want to see what you're able to come up with using Hospitable's MCP. So there are up to
$500 in hospitable credits up for grabs. There's 3 places, 3 kind of spots with various credits, prizes. We want to see what you can build with Hospitable's MCP using AI agents. So whether it's working with data, creating workflows, analyzing something more creative than what I just mentioned, we want to see it. So if you like building things, if you even haven't started working with MCP, please visit buildathon.hospitable.com. I think the link will also be shared in the chat here. Submit whatever you build. We would love to see it and hopefully feature it as well later to inspire others to build with Hospitable's MCP. Okay, and at this point, I think I'll pass over to Miles to talk about other events also related to MCP.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Nick. Yeah, so a good segue here is first talking about our MCP workshops as well. So if everything Nick just said kind of went over your head a little bit and you're kind of like, where do I start with AI agents and Hospitable MCP? We have a series of sessions just for you. So starting out with Hospitable MCP, what it is, starting next Tuesday, and then a couple of events after that kind of going into more detail with examples and use cases. So these are live workshops that you can check out. You can attend them live, you can watch the recording, make sure to register so we can send the recording straight to your inbox. If you head to that link at the top, that gives you a bunch of resources, including details on the sessions and also help articles around MCP and community discussions. And if you head to the link at the bottom, you will be able to register for the first workshop. And I believe Petra has dropped those links in the chat as well, so you can click on the chat to get to those links too. And then next up, we also have another workshop next week. Next Wednesday, we have a support workshop with our Director of Support, Nuran. She's going to be leading us through how to best access hospitable support. We've been doing a lot of work in the background to make sure that we're faster in responding to everyone and making sure that we're increasing the quality of support there. We also want to educate you how to use our Smarty AI in better ways. So we're making sure that we're kind of running a workshop to kind of guide you through that. So definitely worth checking out that as well. And again, you can click the link in the chat or scan the QR code to get registered and attend live or just watch the recording in your own time. And then last but not least, as always, just a reminder that we have these town halls every 2 weeks, different topics each event, going through product updates across the company. If you want to make sure that you get to all of them, you can just scan that link there and you can add them to your calendar so you never miss an event again. And I think that's it from me on events. I'm going to hand back to PC to talk about the host token.
Yes, a fantastic update on the host token that I've not done for a few town halls now, but nonetheless, our token is progressing continuously nicely. So now you could invest into Hospitable at $37, and long gone are the days where you could invest at just $5, but it's still the same company. So let me rewind if that is your first town hall and what a town hall to be joining. You can invest into Hospitable on the website that's called invest.hospitable.com. Hospitable is entirely team and customer owned, and our customers together have been investing $2.2 million into Hospitable. So that's funds that help us grow the product. We have been operating a bit of a correction because the volume of investment was not at the same pace as the reality of our growth. And so over the past few months, we've been going through a series of adjustments. There is still one adjustment that is coming the 1st of May, and that is the last one that I have scheduled in my books. And at that time, the new valuation will be at $270 million. For those that are seeing that slide over and over, you may be wondering, that percentage discount doesn't get any lower. And that's because simply the business is growing. And so at this point in time, it would be already at a real life valuation well above $300 million. So you can still invest into the software that you use, you may have been using for several years at a discount valuation because you are our customers. And we would love for you to join in the proceeds whenever Hospitable has an exit. Gets acquired. That means you get money. You get to make money from competitors, which might be an interesting proposition. So that's available for you today on invest.hospitable.com. That's available worldwide. But if you are located in the United States, you will need to provide an accredited investor verification letter. That's a requirement. Don't look at me. It's the SEC. What you can do is go to a website that's called accredited.am. And that is the website that basically will ask you for all the information that you need. You don't need to provide me with screenshots of your broker's account or statement from Morgan Stanley. This is great stuff. You need to send them to those guys at accredited.am so that they can just send me the letter that certifies that they've done that due diligence, and I can just allow you to be investing. We have someone on the chat saying it's probably my best investment ever because it's a fast-growing company, and now the token is really painfully catching up to the rate of growth. So that's the opportunity that you can have. It seems that we're already above 37.19. I've made a mistake. So yeah, I think that's great. Good. And now I think we can move on to the Q&A. And I think I kind of would like to have Emily going back on stage. Which I didn't talk to you about, because I think there is something that people are asking. So 10%. My goodness, so that means 10% of $50,000. So now Hospitable is making what? Yeah, I don't know, I didn't count. So $5,000. So clarify, please.
Yeah, yes. Okay, the service fee is not on what the property earns, it's on what you earn as the property manager. So we did that to align our incentives so that we're all working together in the same way, right? We want you to make more money because it benefits everybody. When we talked or kind of pitched this pricing to people in our pilot, go ahead, did you want to say something?
No, I want to say, but you're a software company. You're still making money off my subscription. So I pay $30 and then I have to pay the 10% on my commission. This is outrageous, Emily.
You do not have to pay the $30 monthly for a property brought to you on Mogul through the marketplace, and your owner doesn't have to pay for their Hospitable account either, but they still get access through the portal. And if they have other Hospitable properties that they're continuing to self-manage, they get that as well. So
yeah, they can still have this kind of thing. Yeah. But that is outrageous. How did you come up with 10%? That is insane.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you talked to property managers. That's what you were saying. I was cutting up.
Yeah. No, we did. We had lots of conversations with people who participated in our pilot program, and many of them outlined what they currently pay and the value that they get out of it. And in almost every situation, this actually was cheaper for them at the end of the day. I think it's important too to think about, like, okay, you don't have to do marketing. You don't have to do well, you do have to do sales once we connect you, but like you don't have to be qualifying these leads. We're doing all of that homework for you. And so really, especially this is great for people who maybe haven't managed a property before, or maybe are just getting started and need that little boost to get themselves off the ground. By all means, if you're super successful already, have 50 properties under your belt and have a really good process, then you don't need to accept these opportunities if you have a different way to get them. You're muted.
Yeah, I know. Don't take the deal if you don't want it. If it's too expensive for you, there's probably going to be another property manager that might be a fit in your area or not. That's totally fine. Everybody can make their decision. What is the so yeah, how is Hospitable getting paid then? That's also another question in the chat.
Yeah.
Are you charging my credit card now? What's the deal?
Yeah, so for properties that are brought to you on the marketplace, we do expect that you be using owner statements and invoices and owner payouts and payments so that we know what you're charging through that, and we can just take that off of the owner payouts or payments as a service fee, something that you never have to see and then pay us separately.
So if I'm doing the math, basically on $100,000 property, so gross sales, that's the property that's being split between manager and owner, then I'm operating a property manager and I have 20% commission. That's what I've defined, but obviously, as it was said in the chat, you can change that commission if it's marketplace originated. After all, why not? And then Hospitable will be making 10%. That basically would obviously include all the features of Mogul, the owner statement, the transfer, the invoices, the owner payouts, etc., and the payment facilitation, which basically we are an interested party into. So basically that means it's $2,000 a year, which basically, if I divide by 12 again, that's 166. I think, yeah, compare that with another property management software that just charges you $70 per property. Those are the competitive rates that we have for alternatives to Mogul. And you have that customer that basically just landed and just has already connected their accounts. You have auditable data, you have an actual survey, and yeah, what else, Emily? Like there is basically the entire support and development that is going on the property manager marketplace to find a good fit.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like we talked to so many people in these early days who talked about how they're literally paying sometimes $2,500 just for a closed deal before they ever even put the property into operation. And so that's not aligned at all with how the property performs because there's no insight into how the property will perform. You'll guess, and hopefully you'll be close, but this is actually in line with how the property is actually performing, which incentivizes us to do things within Hospitable that help your property perform, right? So we want your property to do better. We want you to do better.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. That was an important correction. So
yeah,
at least everybody is clear. Miles, you can come back and then share more on do a bit on the Q&A, please.
Sure, yeah. So as always, you've seen the instructions up for a few minutes, but if you do have a question for us, please go down to the React button, click raise your hand, and then we can invite you on stage to ask your question live. Please, obviously, when I invite you on stage, make sure to unmute yourself so we can hear your question. It's always very handy. We do already have a couple of people with their hands raised. So Colin, going to you first. Hello, welcome on stage, Colin.
Hey, thank you, Miles. First off, I wanted to say thank you for the MCP. It's been an awesome add to the tool set. Love it. But the question I have is on the Knowledge Hub. So we've taken some time to curate some documents that provide the Knowledge Hub with some great information different than what you'd have as like a guidebook. The consequence has been actually really good. But the challenge has been identity for the AI. One of the things that we've discovered is if you have an identity for the AI that's different than the owner, you have the ability to backpedal. If the AI makes a mistake, that separation allows you to execute. You've got AI attribution, which I think is great. Love it. We've enabled it. But we've had some confusion between the AI taking on the host identity sometimes and then us being able to trick it into taking its own identity. I think we've succeeded in that. But my ask is just to potentially look into ensuring that there's the ability for, if a host wants it, to have the AI to have its own identity. And then as a follow-on ask to that, the AI attribution, it would be great if that were a header rather than a footer. So if those things can happen, would love it. Anyway, great work. Thank you. And appreciate all that you're doing for the community.
Thanks, Colin. Just quick follow-up. When you say identity, do you mean like personality, tone of voice, or the actual account being used to send a message?
Kind of a little bit of both. So just as we interact with the support tool Smarty, which is great, it has its own identity.
Yep.
When a guest interacts with a host, they're expecting to interact with the host. But if the AI acts in messages in lieu of the host, let's say you're using Mogul, you've got AI responses turned on 24/7,
yep,
and you want to rely on the AI to do that, I want to have the separation so the AI has its own name and is known to the guest as the AI assistant or any other name the host would like, so that if there's a mistake, it allows that separation of identity for the host to step in and say, hey, you know what, that was a great first step, first swing for an answer, but let me correct that. And that way you don't look like you're crazy when you're a host.
Yep. All right, I hear you there. So the challenge there is that we and basically any other software platform need to be sending on behalf of some, for example, Airbnb account. Like we can't send from an arbitrary bot account, right? And make it sound like, let's say like Smarty has replied to, this guest on Airbnb. Like that's not possible at all, regardless of what software you're using. So that's one just challenge there. The way you get around that is, yeah, like if you're using a co-host account, for example, in your auto reply settings, you can set the co-host in the scoping box to be the account that auto reply works for. It will only go out from there. And feedback heard about attribution positioning. We can do something quick there to at least make it easier for you to make it clear that it's an AI replying. Yeah.
Outstanding. So if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is you need to create a co-host account. And then as a follow-on action to that, you set up that co-host account within Hospitable and you set the AI to be that co-host.
Yep. Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That is the way to move the ball over to the booking platform, of which there is only one that supports co-hosting.
Yeah.
So it's not really a very compelling answer. And second, that goes, we need to be verified. So it's not going to be just a mock account. I think this is a very interesting feature request for the booking platform themselves. And I would not be surprised of something like that coming up in the next few months, because of course, AI agents are everywhere. And the platforms will want to offer for themselves, for their own trust issues and host issues, basically a way to delineate between the answers that are sent by the AI and the way that are sent by a human. So I would not be surprised that within a few months, we're hearing from the booking platforms to now implement a flag that this was generated by AI, or some kind of way to have a kind of a mock AI account that's appearing on their interface to show that this is an AI generated answer. As it's going to be, as in probably we need to be disclosed to the guest. Right now, whatever footer you use, it's unfortunately going to be sent from the host account that has been connected, and so that's our limitation. And there is, I believe, you can try and do a co-host account and connect that and use this one to be sending the messages, but that account has no other purpose than sending a lot of messages, has no identity, we'll probably be using the same phone numbers, etc. So there is a bit of a setup to do. It's not a genuine human, a genuine account behind the scenes. It's a disposable one.
Understood. And even if we're sharing a single account, that identity separation capability is I think critical. And I like the idea of having attribution, but as a header, it would be even more valuable because they're not reading a footer after the fact. Oh, this is not the host. They're reading it in front of the message. Hey, this is AI responding quickly. Here's the response. But I like the separation of idea with the co-host, but even if it's within the same account, identity attribution would be super helpful.
Yeah. Heard. Also, just in the chat, because I think some folks may not be aware or are confused. So Aaron and Anthony, yes, you can include a footer. So in auto reply settings, you can enable AI attribution, and that automatically injects that text that you define there to every auto reply message at the bottom. So like if you want to say this was sent by my AI assistant, you can do so. So that functionality is there already. But Colin, yeah, thanks for the header suggestion as well as the customization. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Colin. Okay, we don't have long left, but we have two people with their hands raised, so we're going to make sure we squeeze in their questions. AN, inviting you on stage. Hello.
Hello. How can we help you?
Yeah, so I appreciate this. I'm on the opt-in page, and the link that was posted seems to take me to a tour page instead of the actual signing up for it. Context is I'm not a Mogul member. Do I need to sign up as a Mogul member in order to have access to this program?
I think I'm gonna, Emily, not sure, like everybody's jumping to answer. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. So we're actively bringing opportunities to Mogul plan customers because they have the tools to manage the owners that we bring them. So yes, there's a small exception that if there's an area where we don't have a lot of Mogul customers and we have an owner we need help, we might bring an opportunity to somebody in another plan with the expectation that they upgrade if they're to accept it and take on that client so that they can provide that owner with a great experience through the portal, statements, payouts, all that stuff. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you very much. Okay, we now have Namrata. Welcoming you on stage. Hello.
Hello.
Hi guys. So it was very useful. My question is, I haven't even started my subscription yet. I'm on the trial. I'm for context, a single property owner, and I'm now an aspiring Airbnb host, single property. So most of what attracted me was the ability to have these automatic answers to all of your property specific FAQ type questions. Am I gonna need the mogul plan for that? That's my question.
So I think the mogul plan is really the go-to plan for property managers that are basically generating revenue by providing a service to others. And really the core features around mogul are owner statements and owner payouts, for example. There is also Inbox AI, that is a different product that is basically what Nick was alluding to, that is allowing you to generate replies to your guests basically as you during the day whenever you're offline, etc. So that is basically another meaningful feature of Mogul. So that's basically a highest tier of automation that we can offer right now. And you have the host and pro plans where in that case, there are still AI features that are relying on the knowledge hub, for example, to suggest replies with AI. This time is basically more when you are triggering a message by clicking the button yourself, and it's leveraging the knowledge that you have provided about the property and also looking into your past conversations to be generating the best answers that you may have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I get the feeling that I would need the mogul plan to be able to do the things that I was assuming, and the kind of the idea that I had about Hospitable, because I do want to be completely hands off when when my property does go live next month. But yeah, thank you. I saw that message, Derek Jones. I will email you. Thank you. By the way, I'm already on a demo. Allison set me up.
Fantastic. Alison is in the chat right now, so she's probably cheering. Thank you very much, Namrata.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Curious to see how this trial goes. Thank you so much. Okay, and we're at time. So that means I got the difficult part of doing a bit of a debrief and tease for the next one. So yeah, this one was pretty unique. So obviously, if like every time that there is something new, there's a lot of change going on. The underlying thing that we believe is that the software space, and especially the property management software space, is going to change pretty dramatically in the next 12 months. So we believe that the property management marketplace that we see is a reason, we see it's a reason why customers are leaving Hospitable, because they go to a property manager most often using Hospitable already. And so we want to facilitate those kind of transactions. We want to facilitate those introductions to avoid burnout. That's something that resonates particularly closely to me. I've created Hospitable because I was burning out. I was too many guests, or hosting fatigue accumulated. And I have basically ended up using a property manager, but it took me a long time to be vetting and finding how it goes. I did not have a product like Hospitable that could give me the information with transparency about basically what I can be expecting and making sure that I'm finding a great fit for my location. So now I'm happy that Hospitable is leading the way on facilitating those introductions. There is no commitment. Those terms are transparent, and you can take it or not take them if you look to. But I believe whenever we have a signal that a property is underperforming with a host that is willing to go to a property manager, we have an obligation to be introducing those customers to Hospitable users that are using obviously all the features to scale their property management company. Ultimately, that's a bit of a change of role of what a property management software does. It's no longer just about the automation. Here we've added a unique feature as a property management software, and that is deal flow. We are the only property management software that exists that is really aligned on growing the property managers and generating leads that are a fit for your business and your hosting style. And I think that feature is particularly interesting to see what it means in 12 months, in 24 months, as it gets rolled out and trying to find its market. So thank you so very much. Next town hall will be 15 days from now, same time, same place. And there's going to be another very different town hall than what we were expecting. And this one is going to be more around platform. That's changing a little bit. So we're curious to see, we would like to have you there and understand again how this proposition of being a software company in this space is evolving. Thank you so very much.